Thanks for being with us here on East Idaho Newsmakers. Today we are talking with a familiar face if you follow East Idaho News at all. Natalia Hepworth is here, one of our reporters. She's been with us since the beginning, 2015. We were brand new when we hired you, and you're not going to be here much longer.
Yeah, it's scary and exciting and all the above.
Yeah, tell everybody where you're going.
So I will be working at the church office building in Salt Lake for welfare and self-reliance services as a communication specialist. So a lot of people think that I'm going to be a public relations person now, but I'm not writing any news releases for the church. I'll just be working in one of their departments, pretty much doing what I do now, but just in a different setting.
In a different setting, and you're actually leaving Idaho, going on to a bigger city. A lot of people will leave, small markets like this and go to news stations, but you've kind of decided to leave news in a way. Still in communications, right, though.
I still wanted to keep all the skills that I've gained, but I just, it's really hard sometimes because in a lot of ways I'd have to start over in another market, and I just wasn't really in love with that idea. And I really love Idaho. Leaving too was really hard, and so I knew that I didn't really want to go to New York or Texas just because I want to be close to my family still. And so choosing to, I guess, leave the news in a sense or do something different, but still along the lines of media and communication, it was a hard decision because I didn't want to just give up everything that I've been doing for the last 4 years. So it's been a lot of thinking and crying and just trying to figure out where I would fit the best. But I really think that this new position is it'll be a natural, good position for me to move into. So. Well,
we're excited for you, but we are going to miss you. You've had a very good 4 years here. Everybody in the community knows who you are. How often are you asked, as you've been out doing stories over the years, are you from here? How often are you asked that?
I'm asked that every week, at least. It's funny because there's not a lot of Jamaicans in East Idaho. So going out on stories or just even being in the community, going shopping at Brolum's every once in a while, people will wonder where I'm from or think that I'm a foreign exchange student or a college student or just not from Idaho. And I've lived in Idaho for a majority of my life, for over 20 years. So it's funny to be in a position like this, but then people still not knowing that I am a local and that I've grown up in Idaho, grown up in Rexburg specifically. And I've had people welcome me to the United States and just different things and just saying that they're just so glad that I'm here. And I know that it's all out of the goodness of their hearts. I know there's no ill intention or anything negative behind it, but it's been fun to go out on stories and to see people who I hear about in the community but not necessarily have gotten to meet yet, and just know that I'm a local just like they are, and it's fun building relationships with those in the community. So
the next question is, how did you get from Jamaica to Rexburg?
So I don't even know how much detail you want me to
go into detail. We have unlimited time here.
Okay, so I was born in Jamaica. Obviously didn't grow up there because I don't have the fun accent like my mom does, and she actually came to school at Rick's College. So she is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so she joined when she was in her teenage years. In Jamaica. She did some schooling down there, and then she came up to Idaho and met my dad here. So my dad and his family are all from Rexburg, and that's kind of how we landed here. She really liked it. She's lived all over. She's lived in New York and Connecticut and just kind of all over, and all of my mom's family is actually in New York. We don't really have much family left down on the island or in Jamaica anymore. So my dad is probably the main motivating factor of why we live here, and he's always kind of lived in Idaho, and we've just really liked it here. It's just been a great place to raise our family. Everyone's really close and really friendly, and I don't know. It's just been a great place to live.
And you mentioned you've been here most of your life. Yeah. So what is it going to be like for you going from Idaho, Rexburg to Salt Lake City?
So this is actually not the first time I've lived in Salt Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we lived in Salt Lake when I was in second grade.
Oh, right.
So I don't really count it because we were only there for about a year or two. Mm-hmm. But I am pretty sad because I do love it here, and you know me, this is just not me. Leaving my home, I'm just such a homebody, and me and my dad are really close and everything, and I'm gonna choke up, but we are just so close as a family, and I'm the oldest of 9 kids, I guess. And so it's been hard because really it's like, it's almost like I'm leaving my children, you know, just because I've changed all their diapers and made all the dinners and been at all their soccer games and football games and
been a second mom to
I've been a second mom, and like even drove up my little brother to his competition up in Ketchum last week, and it was just us, and but it was so natural just because it's how it's always been.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be a change, and I don't know, it's just I don't know. I just don't really have changes that often in my life, and so this is definitely like a life-changing thing for me just because it's like going to be a new adventure, and I can't just go home to my parents anymore, which is going to kind of stink for me because I just love them so much. But
it'll
I
be
know,
good too.
Yeah, it'll be a good change.
Yeah.
And I have family down in Utah too, so they're all so supportive. Like everyone's been, I'm like shocked at how supportive everybody's been. And I guess I just didn't expect like the responses that I've gotten. I just kind of thought it'd be like, okay, cool, like see you around type of thing. But people have been reaching out, and like I've had a lunch every day this week just with someone who's like, I just want to see you before you go down. And it's just like, oh my gosh.
You should postpone it to get those free lunches every day.
I
There
know,
you go.
I know. So it's been good though.
So Natalia
Yeah.
sent me a message the other day that said, can I talk to you when I get into work? I said, sure. And she comes in and says, I'm leaving, which was shocking because as she mentioned, she's a homebody. So I thought, oh, she's going somewhere else here. And then she said, I'm moving out of state.
Yeah.
And that was shocking.
I know.
But that's good. That's good.
Crazy.
That's how we progress and
Yeah,
grow.
I'm excited.
You've done the news for 4 years. You hadn't really, had you always wanted to be a broadcaster? You didn't really, right? You didn't.
Not
Your goal
initially.
wasn't to be a news reporter.
No, I've always been so intimidated by the field. Always. And I remember taking like my first writing class, Com 111, freshman at BYU Idaho, and I was like, I will never do that. I will never do that in a million years. Like I was just I wasn't enamored by the field. We had Art Rascone come to our class and speak to us. He shared stories about when he did a story with the drug cartel down in Mexico. I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that's what the story was, but this was a while ago. And I was like, I would never do that. Like put myself in danger, let alone how would I even write about that? It's because you have to know a lot when it comes to journalism. I mean, here, as we've been at EastIdahoNews.com, we're kind of everything people. We do like the camera work, we do the audio, we have to do our own lighting, we have to write everything and edit everything. And so just seeing like students even do that in scroll, I was just like, I had anxiety. And so it's funny, it's just kind of a funny story how I even got into news. I just didn't want to do it for the longest time, and it was just so like, just turned off. I was like, I just don't think I can. That's really what it was. It just was like, I just don't think I'm smart enough. And so I just stayed away. I just stayed away from it just because I just didn't want to even try. And so I kind of just focused more on photography, but I did like video. And so learning that was really hard just because it's a lot different than photography. There's just more moving parts. But
literally moving.
Yeah, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
So my senior year at BYU Idaho, I decided to sign up for Scroll. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. This is so dumb. But I just kind of kept having that. Sometimes you get those nagging feelings or those impressions that maybe you should try something a little out of your comfort zone.
And Scroll's the student newspaper.
Yeah. So they had at the time it was Scroll newspaper, and then they had Scroll TV, which was the digital side.
Okay.
And I did an internship on the Neil Larson show. And someone on campus had helped me get the internship. And I just remember telling her that I was like, I just don't even know what I'm going to do with my life because I'm graduating. And my advisor, the coordinator at the time was like, you need to make a decision, because once you make a decision, then you can make more decisions that will help you along your way. And at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, but I just didn't want to ever feel committed to something because I didn't want to make the wrong choice. Mm-hmm. But it was like once I had made a decision that I was going to intern at the radio station in Idaho Falls, everything else kind of fell into place. And at the time, it's hard to see that. But so I decided to do the internship at the political talk show,
Yeah.
And so then I was like, why don't I try Scroll? Like I'm already doing an internship with Rich, I might as well just try Scroll. So I went into Mr. Thompson's office and I was enthusiastic and I said, hey, I want to do Scroll. And he's like, great, we'll give you a camera. And I'm like, I don't even know how to run it. I don't even know where the on button is. And he's like, it's okay, we'll teach you everything. And so it was baptism by fire. It was very hard for me to learn everything just because it was my last, I'm telling you, it was my last semester. Okay, this is not smart. So if you're gonna do a practicum, do it a little bit before your last 2 semesters. And so I decided to do it. And the first 2 weeks, I was bawling. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm the type of person that's like, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm not just gonna like give up because I'm worried that I'm gonna fail, even though I did fail many times. But the longer that I did it, it's just like I got my reps in. Like the more that I did it, the better I got. And it was funny because like we kind of would have like these contests every week on who like had the best story for the week. And I was like always winning them, not because they were these great stories, but because I'd actually finish. And so because people just stopped, they would just stop writing, or they just stopped shooting, or they wouldn't do that story that week. But I did my story every single week. And so just doing that and like getting my reps in helped me to understand more about video, and it helped me to build my reel when I applied for EastIdahoNews.com. And so from the scroll experience, I went to it was like a business fair that was here in Idaho Falls, and the managers at the time were trying to like recruit people and saying that they're starting this new thing, and you really should look into this new thing. It's called EastIdahoNews.com. You should look into this. You should look into this. And so I was like, no, like I'm not gonna do it. So even though I did scroll, I just didn't have confidence. Like I just was like, there's no way I'm gonna make a living off of what I did this last semester for scroll. And so I just kept being like encouraged to apply. And it was funny because like at the time I was like kind of encouraged to apply here. I was encouraged to apply at Local News 8. And then I applied for another job doing like an account executive, like a sales thing.
Sure.
And so I went to all 3 interviews that week, and I just was like, I'm not gonna work here, and I'm not gonna work here. And it was just like, EastIdahoNews.com was the one that stood out to me the most. And so, but it just still, I just still remember like, I don't even think I can do this. And so when I was offered like the position and stuff, I was like, man, I'm gonna try. I don't think I can do this, but I'm just gonna go. And since then, it's been like
another baptism by fire.
Yeah, it's just meeting Nate Sunderland, my editor. Oh my gosh, so intimidating. He still intimidates me.
He's honest. He'll tell you what he thinks.
He will, but I'm so grateful for him because we've come a long way in our relationship. I mean, we all have, but like we've just come a long way as far as like my writing has improved just so much more. Like with this last job that I applied for, they had me do an editing test. I don't think I told you that, but they had me do an editing test, and they had me critique like their Facebook pages. And if it wasn't for Nate, I don't even think I know what to look for, I guess. And I honestly thought, I was like, I don't even think they're gonna care about this editing test because I don't even think I know what I'm doing. Like again, the same like fears and stuff, but just everything that Nate taught me came into play, and it still comes into play every single day. I feel like I know what he looks for when he reads my articles, and so I kind of know how to cater things to him a little bit more than I used to in the past.
So you've been reporting 4 years now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do some favorites. Do you have an overall favorite story?
My favorite story, I loved like all of my East Idaho Eats. I mean,
explain for those people that didn't remember back in the day, what was East Idaho Eats?
So East Idaho Eats was a series that I did where we featured local restaurants in East Idaho. They had to be like locally owned. They couldn't just be like a big box restaurant. So we'd go around and we'd film and talk about some of their best dishes that they served, why customers enjoyed them, and it was really fun. It really was like, I think more people probably know me from East Idaho Eats than don't, but I don't know. It's been a little while since I've done it, but those were probably my favorite just because I got to go around. I love food and I love cooking, and it was fun to.
Did you have a favorite restaurant?
Probably Smoke and Gun Barbecue.
Smoke and Gun Barbecue. And
I don't even get to go there that often, but I loved their barbecue. So good. And it's just this guy that has never had a restaurant before. He just loves smoking meat.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, so amazing.
I'll have to try that.
Like people from all over will come and try his barbecue, and like they're just like, I'm from the South, and this is the best barbecue I've ever had. And so he does awesome. Clint, his name's Clint.
Story that changed your life?
Any crime story I've done.
Any crime story?
Which is funny because I don't really do crime that often.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed going to court. I really liked it. I felt like it was a representation of like your actions in action, and the choices that you make matter. And little things can end you up in prison. I mean, things that you would think are little, or just little choices lead to bigger things. And so I think just being able to see the judicial process,
system,
the system and everything, just kind of seeing like what happens when a fight goes too far or things like that. It's been a lot of stories I've done have been great learning experiences, but I think honestly the court ones have taught me a lot just about, hey, everything you do matters, and it's good. It's good to watch yourself and watch your actions and your thoughts and things like that, because they can lead to really good things or really bad things.
One thing I love about this job is you could talk to the governor at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 11 o'clock you could be talking to a homeless person on the street. Mm-hmm. You meet a variety of people from a variety of walks of life.
Right.
Someone you've met who is a memorable person you've interviewed.
I think.
Or a favorite interview if you have one.
Man, I just feel like I've done so many. It's hard to just say one. I mean, you probably feel the same way too, because you're just always meeting people and always. Oh gosh, it's hard. I feel he kind of put me on the spot with that one.
Think about it.
I'm gonna think about it.
Worst story.
Oh my god.
You don't have to get specific in case they're watching, but a story that you were like, oh.
I don't know. Should I say? Maybe.
You can say it.
Okay. Probably. I think it was a missing person that I went on, and someone was yelling at me from their front porch. It wasn't the story itself. It was just like the experience of filming it.
Okay.
It was out in Blackfoot, which is ironically where my favorite restaurant is. But
favorite and most traumatic experience.
Exactly. And then I got threatened in court once for another terrible crime story that we did. And
oh yes, I remember that day.
Oh my
the judge called us. The judge called us and demanded that we go before him because...
Oh wait, no, that's a different one.
Oh, well,
There's been multiple.
This is another time when Natalia was a young reporter. The
yeah.
judge called us and she had shown a picture of a juror, the back of a juror, which is a big no-no. You can't show that on the news, but you were young, and she took a picture of the court so we could post the story of what was happening in court, and showed the back of a juror, and fortunately the case continued. I don't even remember, was it jury selection?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
Okay, so maybe those people didn't get picked, but you learn a lot on the job. They don't just hand you a manual when you graduate college and say, here's how you cover courts, and here's how you cover city government, and here's how you cover laws about dogs at large or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You really have to learn a little about a lot.
You do.
And you're kind of thrown in, which makes it fun and exciting and different every day.
Yeah, it can be intimidating, but something that is one of my personal goals is just like having a job where I feel like I'm a life learner and I can keep learning. And so it's been great because I've been able to learn about so many different things. Not always like in depth, but I can at least go into depth for that story or things like that. But I can't think of my favorite story. I think one of my most favorite experiences, well, maybe I'm a little biased, but it was when the temple in Afton was getting dedicated. But I'm only going to say that because they like went all out for the media. And it was probably one of my more fun stories. Just I got to meet a lot of journalists. We all got to like mingle, get to know each other, and then we got to do this tour, and it was just a good time, like in Wyoming, which was great. So any story that I've kind of gotten to, I don't want to say get out of East Idaho because that's not true because we're EastIdahoNews.com, but like anytime I've gotten to go up to like Swan Valley or like just gotten to go out, go up to Ashton, kind of travel, take a little day trip, like those are always so fun, and like just getting out into like, especially the smaller communities, I think are my most favorite, just because you get to see, okay, who are the faces behind East Idaho? Like these are the people that are here, and these are the people that they care about the community, they care about Idaho, they care about maintaining the integrity of what East Idaho is. And so it's just been fun to like actually be on that level with your neighbors. And like these are people that you've grown up with in a sense, but you've never actually taken the time to get to know. And so it's just been awesome just getting to know my neighbors and like knowing, so-and-so is the mayor and so-and-so is also he owns a donut shop down the street, and so it's just fun to kind of see all the hats that everybody wears. And I just love that we're just like so close here. I think I'm gonna miss that. That's probably the thing that I'm probably gonna miss the most is just like going to Berlin's at night and being like, hey, good to see you, Sandy, And so it's gonna be hard to make that transition, but it'll be a good one though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Natalia's last day is Friday, but fortunately she's probably going to do a little freelancing for us. So
Yeah,
you may still see her occasionally appearing on our website. We wish you all the best. You still going to keep your Facebook page up and running?
Oh yeah. I don't know if I'll keep it. I don't know if it'll say reporter. I might just change it.
Just drop that. Well, you can friend her on
something
Facebook
else,
and
but-
follow her journeys and Instagram.
Yes,
I don't
on
know if that's
Instagram,
private or whatever,
sure.
but any parting words you want to say to East Idaho before we sign off on the
Sure.
Newsmakers?
I'm gonna miss everybody that I've gotten to know over the last 4 years, and it's not an easy thing, like making a decision like this. But I just want everyone to know that I've really enjoyed getting to know you, getting to tell your stories. I love that people will come to me and say, "Hey, I got a story for you," because that to me has just been like just them showing that they have trust in me, trust in our organization. And so it's been fun to be able to build those relationships, and I treasure all of those relationships, and I'm not going away forever. So I'll still be around. My family's still here. I'll still say hi. I'll still go to see Sandy at Rollins and see people that I know, but it'll be hard, but I'm excited, and I wish East Idaho all the best, and I will still be reading every single day on EastIdahoNews.com to see what's going on.
Good luck, Natalia. Thank you for all you've done over the past 4 years. We have a highlight video, some of her stories down below. Watch that. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Good luck. Thank you for watching. Have a good week.